Okay. Welcome, everybody. Madeleine and Amalia here with a cosmic chat discussing this upcoming new moon in Leo at 1:54:55 p.m. Eastern on the 28th of July. And there are some major happenings around this new moon date, right after it. The 31st of July onto the 1st of August, which happens to be my birthday. So lots of stuff we're going to be talking about.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be on your solar return all year.
It's pretty huge. And we're going to be talking about the new moon, but we do want to also talk about this Uranus-Mars North Node conjunction that's taking place on that 31st, August 1st date. It has not happened since 1855 in Taurus. And before that, I believe it was like 3000 BC where this exact conjunction took place. It was something crazy. I've heard a couple of astrologers talking about the very, very distant past and how there was major upheaval. And 1855, there was a volcanic winter. So basically that means that the ash from a volcanic eruption disrupted the sun's rays from coming into our atmosphere and having an effect on the growth of agriculture. And so there was agricultural issues, and a lot of people are talking about issues with our food supply. So it seems like there's a little bit of that energy going on. That's just one aspect of this. Like there's so many more that I'm going to let Madeleine share her astrological wisdom and insights with us about that. But just to kind of lay the groundwork, like this is significant. And the fact that it's happening so close to this new moon, it definitely, to me, feels like it's hearkening a whole new way of being, a way of engaging with life, with others. It's going to be some like dumping out the container to start over kind of energy, likely going to be uncomfortable, but it will be liberating on the other side. And I know, Madeleine, you talk about liberation a lot, that sense of freedom and moving towards liberation. So Madeleine, what are your thoughts about this Uranus-Mars North Node conjunction coming up?
Yes. So Uranus and the North Nodes have been in conjunction now already for a while. This is already an energy that we've been looking at, I think, for this month, because we're at 18 degrees. These are slower moving planets. Uranus is in retrograde. The nodes are now meeting Uranus. The nodes move quicker than Uranus, so the nodes are moving and meeting Uranus, and then we're going to have Mars coming up and conjuncting this exact on the 31st. So this new moon, in a way, is like a precursor to that, because we do have Mars in pretty close on this conjunction at the new moon, which is on the 28th. So we also have a Mercury squaring all of these planets on the new moon. They won't be squaring on the 31st, but on the new moon on the 28th, Mercury is going to be squaring all of this. So at the same time, we have its sun trining Jupiter. So Venus was squaring Jupiter, but that will be gone by that point. Venus is squaring Jupiter right now. But so we're having some kind of because Leo is Mercury. So in my opinion, something is going to happen in the collective, because the North Node represents the collective. Yeah. So there's some sort of collective release, because Mars is going to come in and release tension and release pressure and release buildup. That's why we get volcanoes during these conjunctions. That's why we get conflict, possible war, because in Vedic, remember, this is all in Aries energy, which is very fiery, which is aggressive. So there's possibilities of explosions, earthquakes, like you say, volcanoes. I think on one of these conjunctions, one time when we had these three we had a huge earthquake in Chile, which I think was like 40,000 people died. So it was pretty severe. So everybody wants to be cautious and aware and be careful traveling. And for these couple of weeks while Mars is in the picture, luckily Mars will move on. Mars is not a slow moving planet. It moves every day it takes 2 days to move 1 degree around. So so after that couple weeks, we're going to be okay with the Mars because it's going to move on. But in my opinion, something is going, because Uranus is the energy of waking up. So, and the North Node is a collective destiny. So we're waking up to our collective destiny, and we're no longer, because the Mars energy comes in and removes our resistance, or the resistance to doing it, or the fears to doing it. We become courageous. We step up. Don't forget, Chiron is in Aries too, and I think we have Mercury is trining Chiron at the time, almost giving people confidence to overcome their insecurities. Chiron is in Aries, which makes everybody. Chiron was in Aries after World War II, and we saw how resourceful Americans are, and how we pull together, and we are strong and hardworking, and together we pulled America into the most, well, not me, I wasn't alive then, but America got pulled into this incredibly abundant, era with the grit and the hard work of the Americans. So it's like the rising of the American to bring the country up to what it's supposed to be, kind of energy, and it's like mass awakening to our responsibilities. It squares Saturn loosely. So it's like we've, in a way, a society's waking up to how we are responsible for leaving things to the government, or leaving things to be taken care of by the structures. We just think they're going to worry about it. They're going to take care of it. And we're going to wake up, and we're going to see we got to take care of it. We got to step up and change the world through our purpose, through our callings. The North Node, that in your chart, that represents your calling. So it's like, I think we're going to have some sort of a crisis, but again, it wakes people up to how we are really, and I'm seeing 18 right now, and it's all happening at 18 degrees. Yeah. And 18 degrees is a challenging degree in astrology. It can mean crisis. It can be, but I've seen major conjunctions happen in 18 degrees and not too many bad things happen. So I don't want to go to scary land about it all. Because there's another side to this transit, because we have we have this trine in Jupiter on the sun. So what does that do? The trine is going to open up the way, the Jupiter way. The sun is trining Jupiter. Jupiter is our calling, is the solution, is the thing that empowers humanity, or improves life for the humankind, and everybody stepping up and into that role of how they are here to do that. You get this massive awakening to us realizing our own power, and how we've really repressed in an illusionary ideal that we don't have the power to create the change. We're going to see that we have the power to create the change, and that we've just played a subservient role to a system that we just thought was going to take care of it, kind of a thing. So in my opinion, it's the big awakening. We are slowly but surely awakening, bit by bit, society's waking up. But this could be a big shift in a global mentality, a global consciousness. Uranus is the people. When I say liberation, Uranus is the energy of the people galvanizing together to cause positive shifts and changes in the world without fear, with a freedom to express ourselves individually without any sort of oppression. So I think what we're going to see is sort of people busting out of oppressive experiences, oppressive situations that have been, like, I think somebody I know that I read for, I think they're just going to retire and they're going to quit working their rigid life job for the benefits and all that stuff, because it just feels like a cage. And now they're going to go out on their own and live their Jupiter. It takes courage, but that's the Chiron and Aries, people stepping up, taking the courage to step forward and use their power to create good. And the Chiron, we've been going through this ever since Chiron was in Aries, working on everybody's deep down insecurities, because I've been doing readings on people's Chiron's transits. And it's like, we're being cleared of these unempowered insecurities that we have. That's going to help us. And I think this is the culmination of it, where we're now going to see the fruits of our hard work in ourselves through the COVID, how we've all really been powerful coming together. There's going to be an awakening to the divisive rhetoric in the media. You know, all that stuff's going to go. I think we're seeing an explosion possibly somewhere in a natural disaster or volcano or earthquake, and an explosion in the mentality of the people stepping out of that separation mentality or that divisive rhetoric. I think we're all waking up to that. We're being played against each other, things like that. And that we all actually really agree. We all really want the same things, which is a healthy life, abundant, healthy life.
So there's a lot of energy around the individual and the collective is what I'm hearing you say, and kind of what I've been picking up on as well. And, you know, it's about each of us really taking responsibility for ourselves, how we engage within our own minds and within our own world with the people around us. And then we also have this, the bigger collective with this conjunction, at least if this is the way I interpret it, is there, you know, as we each work on our individual wounds and we show up differently, that has a ripple effect for the collective. And, you know, I think of it in terms of, okay, similar to what you said before, you know, North Node is what you're moving towards. It's your destiny. It's your life fulfillment, that sort of thing. And then you have Uranus, which is bigger thinker, innovator. It's this genius. It can be also be rebellious a little bit, you know, kind of rebelling against the status quo. And then Mars, willpower and instinct. So if you take all those together, we're moving towards our destiny. We're beginning to really use our own instinct and willpower to innovate a whole new way of being. And so if you think about it in those terms, this is a significant point in time. And if we have an awareness around it, okay, what can I do? You know, what is my role? How can I contribute in a meaningful way is the way I look at it. And you know, I think if everyone just took maybe a couple minutes just to contemplate that question, well, you might be surprised by the answer.
Yeah. So here's what I do. I like to do these little demonstrations. So Uranus is the 11th house. Everybody talks about 11-11. You're seeing 11-11, right? So Uranus represents the 11th house, Aquarius. It's the 11th sign in astrology. So what does 11 mean? So 11 means individuals, massive amounts of individuals, individually aligned with the divine, not leaning on people or leaning on the government or leaning on the something fear-based, right? Instead, it's people, everybody, no leader. They're actually in the age of Aquarius, there's no one leader. There are people who have clarity to guide, but you don't follow them as like some sort of guru as much. You follow them as somebody who knows the way forward through to the new age. We're entering the new age of Aquarius. Aquarius literally means individuals aligned with their God selves, their higher selves, not following outside dogma or, you know, religions. I'm not dogging anybody's belief. I'm just saying everybody's going to wake up to their own relationship and leadership from their higher God self. If we all follow our higher God selves, we all will go the right way because we will be guided by the right way. So it's people waking up to, oh, I'm a sovereign being of my own power with my relationship with the higher dimensions, because Age of Aquarius is the 5D. The other thing you want to really watch out for, everybody wants to become very cognizant and aware of your thoughts. The 5D, the reason law of attraction is coming up so strong right now is because the 5D is really the law of attraction, because you materialize really fast during the 5D era, because it's the 5D. So what you think, boom, can happen. If you have a fear, boom, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
If you have mental of abundance, that's one thing you want to really be aware of, how to cultivate abundance through these shifts and changes, how to adapt, because with Jupiter, the sun trining Jupiter is shining a light on your true purpose, your true calling, and that's the way through. That's towards your abundance. That's your abundance. So following your Jupiter is following your divine calling. So I think the doors will be open to your Jupiter calling. The doors will slam shut to your safety, secure based choices. Collectively, we're stepping into a future, because Uranus is a future. We're embracing a new future, leaving a past behind that was more secure.
I could feel so much when you said shutting the door on your security, the things you do for security, because I think particularly with people who have Taurus in their chart, and this conjunction is happening in Taurus, you as I have Taurus moon, I'm very much about security. So I know there are a lot of folks out there, a lot of people like to have that sense of security, whatever that means for them. It might be a certain amount in the bank. It might be owning your own home. It might be a certain job, whatever, or a certain relationship that makes you feel secure. Whatever that is for you that you clutch onto, you're basically saying that's no longer going to be your sense of security.
Your sense of security is going to come from your relationship with the higher realm. With the 5D, your consciousness of how powerful your materializing energies are and how to use them the right way. If for yourself, or your family abundance, because some astrologers talk about a division happening. I believe most of us are going to wake up to this. But again, if you have a lot of negative stuff in your psyche that you haven't worked through, you could materialize some negative outcomes for you. But the opportunity is here for everyone to pull through and into something really abundant and fabulous. And I like to compare to nature like a story. Let's say this is in nature, we're in nature, and this big conjunction, really what's going to do is it's going to knock down a big tree that's rotted and it isn't standing anymore. So everybody's just got to get out of the way of the big tree. We know it's falling, like watch out, kind of an energy, like something's going to go kaboom. And when that tree falls, though, whoa, look at the springing life that comes up around it, because the sunlight is now available to more areas. And so it's a metaphor in our life too. So it's like you say, we're shutting the door on a past. We're really stepping. It's almost like we're stepping into a new timeline. We're going to shift timelines here we're shifting into the new story.
And I loved the story that you just shared about the tree and the sunlight coming in. Because it feels hopeful. And also that old tree will decay and become fertilizer for the soil so that more life can spring forth. So it's almost this sense of just allowing it to,
and yes, and we haven't even spoken about the new moon aspect of it, because on the 28th, we have that new moon, which is this Leo new moon at 5 degrees Leo, which is like really great energy, and it's trining Jupiter. The new moon is actually trining Jupiter. So it's like new creative projects that are everybody's true callings are going to happen. They're going to start coming through, like any kind of a creative project. And don't forget, we got Jupiter. I keep forgetting we got to mention Jupiter is going retrograde, which is huge. Jupiter going retrograde in your house. So whatever house is going retrograde in, you're going to go back to something from the past, but you're also going to be more internally connected to your calling. You're going to know what it's inside. It's an inside energy, because Jupiter retrograde takes you inside to connecting to what your true calling really is from an internal experience, like following an internalized definition of that, which is what you truly desire, what feeds you, what fills your cup. So
you want to just jump into it? All right. Sure. So we'll start with Aries here, talking about the new moon in Leo.
Yeah, let me get my my little chart up, because I'm going to talk a little bit about where these houses meet too. Like, in other words, where, for Aries, we're going to talk about the big three, this triple conjunction, which is happening in the second house for Aries. I mean, that's huge. You're going to have a big some kind of a financial change, massive change. I mean, you're going to hear me saying this. The thing about Uranus is it's a wild card. Even astrologers don't even fully know exactly how to say it. What's going to happen is expect the unexpected in your house of finances, but you're going to have this new moon in Leo, your fifth house of creativity. Fantastic. Or a new relationship that you then start to do a creative project with, because you've got Jupiter retrograding in your first house. So an idea. Now, Jupiter retrograding in your first house is big for Aries, because what that means is you're going to go really internally. You're going to really reevaluate what your calling is, what your purpose, what feeds you, what fills you. You know, and plus, don't forget, you're ruled by Mars, and Mars is conjoining. So you're going to have a big, massive wake up as to what you really want to do. And it's going to have a creative element, because this new moon in your fifth house, also involving a new relationship or partnerships or friendships, creative projects opening up. It could be a response to something happening here in your second house of finances. Could be a big income influx of an opportunity that then enables you to quit an old, restricted, trapped situation into a much more creative, exciting, inspired new project that expands your finances really rapidly in a very good way, in a shock and awe way, possibly. Now, let's go to shadow aspect. It could be that you do get fired from an income job, but that's because it's not your right purpose. The nodes are going to adjust you to your nodes. You're going to be on your path. So it's forced on you. As we say, we don't know that it's free will. You can choose to adapt to the circumstances smilingly, or you can cry your way there. It's your choice. But
that's where free will comes in.
Yes, but that North Node being in the picture, this is the collective power. We're going in way. It's you're ready or not. Here we go. Energy.
Yeah.
So
and again, for some reason, I really want to highlight something you said earlier, is to be aware of your thoughts, and because Aries too, they're fire.
Good point.
And it just feels like really Aries pay very close attention to the thoughts that you're thinking.
Aries rules the head, so they are very in their headspace.
Yeah, because if you think about this time period being pretty quick manifestation energy, you could call in things for yourself that you are not looking to call in.
If you're not conscious of what you're attracting energetically inside your psyche, your subconscious, and your conscious, you're going to attract the dominant energy that you're in.
Yeah. So if you're focusing on all the things you don't want, you may want to shift.
A lot more. But interesting, because I had Jupiter on my moon once, which really expands whatever your emotional state is. Like, it becomes really clear, like really loud. And I remember it put me into I was in such a fear zone, and I manifested that fear, but I slammed the door on that fear. I said, no, not going to let this fear happen. And it was like, boom, it went away. So it's almost like, you can, if you see your fear coming out, you can shift it really fast too.
Nice. Okay. But that's great.
Good. So yeah, you can just consciously shift into, that's very much power that we have. Yeah. Okay. So Taurus, I mean, OMG, sorry. Am I jumping the gun? We're going to Taurus?
No. I think we're great. You're great.
Well, funny, the other day I was on a walk and I met a Taurus girl. We started talking because she was dressed all in pink. I had to talk to her because I like pink too. So she was Taurus, and I calculated because her birthday, and I know the degree is a day. You count from the 21st or 20th, so you know what degree they're going to be. And it literally, she was like 18 degrees sun sign Taurus, and it was like she is going to have everything on her sun. So Taurans, get ready, move, shift, relationship, because we are looking at that Tauran. We have the South Node. Don't forget, we got to talk about the South Node and all this. You have it in your relationship house. Major let go of a relationship. Major sudden shift and change possible. Moving, radical shift and change entirely, your whole life, your belief system. You may retire. If you're a Taurus, now Taurans are fixed. They're stable. It's always good to know a Tauran, because you can crash on their couch if you need to, because they're always going to be stable. And you can borrow money if you need to from a Taurus. They're always got some. You're like, you're a Taurus. I know you got some money hidden somewhere. I know you. Anyway, so, I mean, I don't know how the Tauran is going to feel about this big sudden shift and change in their life? I mean, radical. Maybe they already feel it. They can already see it. This girl did already see a big move coming in her life. She didn't see a relationship for her coming, but I did a card read for her, and that was coming in. So it's like big total life mental shift, because the first house is your mind. So Taurus. Okay, so let's look at this new moon for Taurus. I kind of see it's in Leo in the fourth house, the new moon. So they're going to move. Most Taurans are probably going to move, or a sudden shift situation occurring in, and remember, it's trining Jupiter, which is in their 12th house, whole new belief system, waking up to a soul truth, their soul purpose, no longer again taking career-based security. I mean, literally like releasing the shackles. This is the elephant that's been chained, that now realizes the chain was gone and didn't know the chain was gone. And now the elephant is like, oh my God, I'm free. Freedom, boom, out. Running in the rivers and the fields free. For Taurans. They're going to break through, because they may have had a buildup with this Mars coming in, releasing, shaking up their security. It is going to be uncomfortable and change. It can be uncomfortable. So for Taurans, they may take this a little bit harsh, or they may already be building up and know this is coming.
So I'm going to share an example that may be helpful for folks. So, I've shared before, I live my life through guidance. So I receive messages through different channels, and then I've learned to follow the guidance because it always leads me where I need to be. So I received guidance to plan a trip with my kids to go visit my mom, their grandmother. And this all came together very, very quickly. And as most people know, traveling right now is very, very expensive.
And hell, isn't it?
And challenging. We haven't taken the trip yet, but I'm Taurus, so a Taurus moon. So I'm more focused on the money aspect right now. How much are we spending on this? And there's this part of me, this old part of me, that gets caught up in the money story and the worry about, spending this, and how much more do I have to do? And I need to get to work. You got to work so you can replace it and all of that. And I thought, wait a second, I'm going to shift this old story. I'm going to change it into one where I was guided to do this. It feels aligned. It feels like I'm being pulled forward. This is the right thing. And the money is one small aspect of something bigger. It's like, I can see how this is the opening you're talking about. It's like, this is a glimmer of recognizing there's no chain on the ankle of the elephant anymore. Haven't quite gone into that liberation of tromping through the water and the fields, but it's that opening. And it feels very much like, can I shift my thoughts about it? Can I shift the energy around it and then see how it opens up? So the story is unfolding, but I'm just giving an example of, for me, how money can play a role in that safety security thing. And how, if I can change the dialogue in my head and with myself, maybe it's not a true story.
Yeah. And here's what's exciting about this new moon, which I think is super exciting, is that all the decisions we've made that have been secure based, that have been very Tauran, fixed security, fear based money, which is not entirely the wrong thing to do, but you want to not do it from a fear based perspective, I guess. The new moon brings an opportunity. So it's not like you have to invent your freedom door. The door is the Jupiter trining, this creative aspect is opening up the door that you can go through, that emancipates you, that is abundance. And it is not what you would have chosen or considered from the security perspective. So in other words, it's going to be a breakthrough, because it's going to involve creativity for Taurus, because it's in your fifth house, right?
No.
Sorry, what do we have for Taurus? Leo's in your fourth house.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity going to open up that gives us a door through which we can be then the shift and the change and the new opportunity that is more in alignment with our calling opens up. It's like hard to go against the grain now, go against our soul's grain, and it's going to open up opportunities. And that's awesome. Like we don't have to come up with and figure our way out of this. Like the door is going to open. There's going to be an open door, because I keep forgetting to mention there's also a Neptune sextiling Pluto. So if you go more spiritual during these times, you're going to make more money, because Pluto is good money and sextile is flow, and Neptune is the higher realms, the spiritual, the creative. So the more creative you go, you're going to sextile Pluto. Money and opportunities are going to be more supportive of a creative venue, or the more the new earth that we're coming into. There's going to be openings, the opportunities through which the new earth can sort of sprout is going to open up for people because of that sextiling, Venus sextile. So it's finances sextiling that Pluto, which is like debt or other people's money. So it's like some sort of breakthrough is going to happen where we're going to be financially supported without being imprisoned.
Oh, all right. You're like, yep, that's what the stars are saying. And
Yeah.
that feels a lot like, it feels so much easier, but I think for those who are used to the old structure, it's like, how is that possible?
I know. You know, that's why it's so surprising. That's why it's going to be mind blowing.
Right. I think too, if people play with the energy a little bit, maybe not a gigantic expenditure, but maybe when it comes to smaller things, just play with the energy and see what happens. Maybe.
I mean, again, whatever, underline that if you're you got to have specific points in your chart that will be directed, impacted by some of these. And of course, like I have a Saturn squaring all of this. So I don't know what's going to happen in my career. There's going to be a big shift, a big change in my career. I kind of know what I think it's going to be already.
Yeah.
I kind of see it.
You've had some glimmers.
Which is going to be awesome. So I don't mind this. I'm a cardinal. I like things changing. I like change. So for me, this is exciting. But I also have it trining I have all of these planets trining my 7th house of relationships, trining. So there could be some really good aspects in your chart to all of this. Like awesome, really great stuff. The potential for people to do extremely well during these energies is there because of these trines, or the Jupiter trine. And I even like the Venus sextiling Pluto. I like that.
Oh, good. Yeah, because Pluto can be a tough planet. So to have something,
very tough planet, but that's why those trines are like, oh my God, like, whoa, like all the hard work comes to this blessing that we've done,
Nice. All right. Well, let's share some blessings with Gemini. What is going on with the air sign of Gemini?
Where did my little chart go with Gemini? Hang on. Here's my little picture here. Okay, so Gemini, you guys have Leo in your 3rd house of communication, trining Jupiter in your 11th house. Wow, that's nice. Then you've got this new moon in your 3rd house. So possible new ideas, business, writing projects, internet. You might start a website. By the way, on Jupiter trine Sun, that's a great day to initiate and start something. Make an announcement. Even if you don't ready to do something, you can make an announcement on social media that you're doing it, because even just making the announcement on that day is going to be great. It's going to be successful.
So what day is that, Madeleine?
That's 20. Well, you kind of want to do on a new moon, you want to do the 3rd day after. You want to do things in 3. So you wait 3 days after that new moon. So let's say 31st, 30th.
Okay.
28, 29, 30. So 31st, 30th.
Okay.
But Aries is in your 11th, new groups of people. You've got Jupiter in retrograde there. So old people from the past, a friendship group from the past, possible relationship if you're feminine. Now I'm going to look at Leo is your 3rd house. This huge Taurus energies in your 12th house, massive belief shifts, changing shockers from the 12th house. Actually, Leo in your third, I'm trying to think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Aqua ninth house, trines, whatever planets Leo is trining the Capricorn house. I think this is really good for Leo. I think Leo are probably going to get some really good news. Mercury coming in. It could be that Mercury square too. And Mercury's in Cancer. Actually, Mercury's in Leo. I forgot to say Mercury's in Leo. Could be like a lot of heated conversations, like arguments, because there's a Mercury scare there, or work conflicts every day, or neighbors arguing with neighbors or relatives or sisters or siblings. That then there's a breakthrough. It's trining Jupiter. So it's like some kind of a belief opens up around it. That because Jupiter is going to be in your 11th house, you meet new people. So it's possible some sort of a new creative project comes in here. But you have a belief system that shifts, that completely shifts. Does that make sense?
Not totally. So,
okay, so let's start over. So Leo's your third house. So you're going to have Mercury there, and it's squaring. Mercury is squaring all of these planets. So information coming in that surprises and shocks and changes you. Now you possibly meet 1, 2, 3, 5. I see you possibly meet a new friends group or surprising new friends groups. But we also have that, an old friendship coming from the past.
right.
Your whole belief system is going to change on a radical level. You're going to shift and do something that's your soul's truth. 12th house is introversion, yourself, your soul, your deeper self. It's sort of the God connected. It's Pisces. So so we've got, it's kind of like a retrograde energy, the 12th house. So we're going inward and we're shifting a major belief. It's possible a friendship group comes from the past with Jupiter there, starting a new creative project, trining your third house, new business, but there's also a square there. So some kind of conflict or communication conflict of some sort coming in, confusion around a business or an idea or communication, but it's going to be a creative, possibly a new creative business or writing project or something, but it's going to basically clash. It was something that clashed with your ideals, which you're now going to open up to.
So maybe it's a project that you was once a focus. It didn't seem to jive with you then, but now all of a sudden, because your beliefs have shifted, it is going to look more appealing than it did.
Yeah. And you may have had a big disagreement with people in the 11th house, like friends groups over this whole era that we've been out of with Gemini, because the nodes were in Gemini. So for Gemini, they might have been really acting out, arguing with a lot of people, because it was recommended Gemini stay off social media during the last 2 years. anyway, friends group coming back from the past that you disconnected from, that you may have fallen out with, you shifting your belief system that realigns you guys, and perhaps a creative project is opened up around it, or a new business or communication with a sibling or a relative opens things up, becomes more creative. Like, let's say you got, actually, I have Gemini in Vedic, I'm Gemini rising. So I did have a sort of a disagreement with my sister. We have very strong belief systems that are rather opposed. So a creative solution comes up that you agree with, and then something creative can open up around that. So some of these transits are a little harder for me. The third house with Leo there, new creative project, a new business, new communications, a new website, a creative website. You could start a good social media. You could start a new social media platform, because it's the 11th house. It could take off, could do very well.
All right. I think you summarized that pretty well.
Okay,
I think
good.
Gemini has a good sense of things
All
going forward. And then, all right, now what about Cancer?
Cancer. Well, nice thing for Cancer is that this huge triple conjunction is trining their 7th house of relationships. So whatever planets you have in Capricorn for Cancer are going to go great. Good information, new news, possible contracted relationships open up through this. Marriages, relationships. Now, the other cool thing for Cancer, this is very good because Jupiter is trining. Leo is in your 2nd house. So you've got this financial blessing coming in, trining. It's like really good money for Cancer, like great. Jupiter trining. So any Cancers out there, you want to initiate some kind of a new financial project or something that you could launch, like I might launch another series of classes or something on that day. I have to work out what I'm going to launch, but new financial beginnings in your second house, fantastic for Cancer. And then this Taurus for Cancer is in your 11th house. So contact information from people. Now it's squaring the 8th house, squaring Saturn. So for Cancers, again, this is something that could really shift and change their career completely. And they go in a whole new direction with their career. And oddly enough, even though they felt that they were very aligned with what they were doing, like me, which I do feel I was, but it's possible that you continue in that aligned way, but that there's another project opens up with this 7th house relationship, because it's trining it could be a contract that you sign, because it's going into contracted relationships. So very auspicious, because it's trining your 2nd house. So it will make you very, very wealthy, or good money, abundant. So we're looking at the Taurus, and then Aries is retrograde in your 10th house of career. So a project from the past that had career potential, this whole thing is going to have a career potential. I can kind of think I have a suspicion what it could be in my life. I had some writing projects with people in the past that we have sort of dropped because of disagreements of opinions about things. And it wasn't that it was negative. It was just we couldn't see how to continue with these disagreements, and we just sort of let it fall by the wayside. It was not, for me, it was not really challenging. It was just, okay, we'll both continue to seek other things for a while. And I mean, some of that sort of thing could come back now, and it becomes, because I'm talking about these opportunities coming in, opens it up. This is the right thing, brings it back. 10th house, career, something from the past coming back.
Nice.
Yes. So Cancers could get into very committed marriage, divine mate type relationships as well.
You know what I'm noticing, Madeleine, with what you shared so far with just these past 4 signs, is that there is a lot of cosmic energy at play coming from all different angles, and seems to be affecting everybody on almost every facet of their life.
Yes.
Which I think comes back to where we started with, this is a complete shift and change.
Yep.
You know, because so far, every sign that you've talked about, and now we've been through all 4 elements, are significant shifts in every area of their life. Some overlap, but yeah. So it's really interesting.
That's why, I mean, I have plans next year. Like I'm planning my year, I'm planning travel and stuff. And Neptune sextiling Pluto in my 9th house is like really opening up opportunities for travel and stuff. But like, I forgot what I was going to say. Yes, it's better to not make any rigid plans right now, because you have no idea how your life's about to change. Keep your life flexible right now. Keep plans loose, because to the other side of this 2-week thing, because the changes are going to occur in everybody's life in some way, big. That's going to make you want to change your plans, most likely on some level.
Right.
So, you know.
Okay.
All right. So
Leo.
Cancer, exciting. So Leo, wow. You're having.
I'm so excited to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, because I mean, for you guys, this is trining. You're having this new moon, especially if it's your birthday. My son's birthday is in a couple days. I almost forgot. Anyway, unbelievable year for you guys, because you're going to have this Jupiter trining your sun all year long. You've got Jupiter trining your sun. Fantastic for this year for you guys. At the same time of a new moon. Now, the other thing about Leo, which we want to remember, is fun and joy and in the moment. So there's going to be a breakthrough where people start to live life more, enjoy the moment, have more fun, more. I forget to add that in, the element of Leo. There's so much to talk about that it's like we forget some of these most major things, or not forget, but it's like hard to get to this other major thing that we didn't talk about, which is the energy of Leo. And we're entering the Lionsgate, we're entering this whole Leo season, which is passion, fun, joy, love, romance, family, heart, right? Which is all awesome. Backdrop to all of this crazy changes. And don't forget, Aquarius is opposite Leo. So it's like this energy of Aquarius is for mankind, and Leo is the individual. So we're leaders. Leos are going to come up and help lead. They're the kingdom. They're the kings. Lead the mankind. Lead us, right? So Leos are going to shine great during this new moon. And you have Taurus in your 10th house of career. Radical shifts and changes in your careers, guys, because it's on your 10th house. Your 11th house is, 10th house is Taurus. Usually that's your MC somewhere there. So you've got a Taurus MC, Leo, which is going to give you radical change and shifts. Again, your career is going to shift from fear-based, security-based to creative-based. Aries is retrograding in your 9th house. So maybe re-embracing or re-looking at some travel plans. Perhaps schooling, education, or you become a teacher of some sort, educate, but you've got this Aries retrograde in your 9th house. So something from the past around traveling or ideas can open up for you. Teaching or courses, a higher or a belief system that you rejected before, now you really embrace. But it's radical shift there, change.
Yeah.
And then we're looking at your Taurus house, your Aries house, and your Leo house. So that's kind of it in a nutshell for Leo. Much more creative, brand new beginning, some kind of a creative career that's much more in alignment with could be that you don't change jobs, but that your job changes, shifts, and you get this whole massive consciousness or collective consciousness that's taking a radical shift and change. Your career work environment may take a radical shift and change their approach to what they do. They may take a more eco approach. Suddenly they scratch all their products that they're making and they're going to go eco now.
So something just came in as you were saying this, Madeleine, and I'm wondering if it could possibly also be the energy of a career shift that occurs because the collective has shifted. So it's almost the sense of you're doing the same things you've been doing, maybe a little bit more of a creative flair, but because people have shifted, they're like, oh, wait a minute, they receive what you are sharing differently.
Yeah. Yeah, and you may see that you have had a chain around your ankle that you thought was there that was making you do more security-based career type choices. And now you can be liberated in your career and you can be the creative monster that you are, because I don't mean that in a negative way, but ferocious creative beasts that you are, Leo, they're the most creative sign. And that's in your 10th house. So I think you're going to become creatively career is going to be Leo now, is going to be passionately a creative and fiery thing, And Leo, you're ruled by the sun, and you're going to have the sun on your 1st house. So you're probably going to have a lot of confidence to step out and shift and change your career. Something you're going to be very empowered, very, very, very confident. Good time to start a new career. Like my son is Leo, and he has a security-based job, but he actually does love it. It's better than it's been. He's been improving that. But he really wants to work for himself. So it's possible he launches finally his little business that he's going to do, where he makes things by him. He makes leather crafts for people. So like you buy it once in your life, he makes you a pair of shoes you never buy. It lasts forever. Like he makes things to last, right?
Wow.
It's kind of a new paradigm coming in the fashion industry. So, because it's so bad for the environment to make fashion the way we've been making it. So in the fashion world, we might see some big radical eco shifts. And he for sure is very vocal about sort of slave labor, mass produced fashion as just being terrible for the environment and terrible for the world. So he's a visionary in that department. So he may step forward and take his vision and have more confidence about it and say, wow, I'm not just like being a wacko with these ideas. These ideas really are what we need to start doing. And so, he might have the confidence to step forward and do his eco fashion line that is higher consciousness. Because trining Jupiter, an opportunity is going to come in. Jupiter, that's better for the people. That's better. It's happening.
I think that is an amazing idea, and one that is definitely gaining a lot more momentum. The concept of fast fashion, where it's almost disposable, versus having quality items that you use over and over and over and actually become more valuable in time because they last, you know, and they fit you. And
That's
it's
what
so,
he
yeah,
says you're
I think,
better off with few things that look good on you, that fit you right, that are expensive, that are well made, and you don't go buy a bunch of clothes. That's it. You're good. You don't need that much, you know.
right.
And I love that he has that vision. I agree
I
with
love that too. I think I might have to talk to him sometime.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Maybe I'll buy myself a birthday present and be one of his first customers.
Yeah. Yeah. He makes great, he makes leather items, and she's been making shoes and belts and bags. You know, he's going to make his own stuff. So I'll send you his stuff.
Yes, please do. Okay. So Virgo,
Virgo.
those goddesses and gods.
Yes. Virgo, you all have this Leo moon, new moon in your 12th house. And then you've got the Taurus shaking up your 9th house, Virgo. And you've got Aries retrograde your 8th. So a passionate sexual relationship from the past coming back. Or an opportunity with outside resources coming from the past. But 9th house and 12th house, wow, Virgo. I think Virgo, you're all about to have, you see Taurus in your 9th house. Again, it could open up for travel, sudden shift and changing into traveling. You've got Leo in your 12th house, which is new beginnings in 12th house.
Itself. I mean, they're looking at themselves differently.
Yeah.
You know, not quite the same as the first house, but they're changing their beliefs. They're kind of reevaluating everything that came before in order to step up for the new moon next month, which is about them. It's almost like they're completing the energy of the lessons before. And I can speak to this somewhat eloquently just because my daughter is a Virgo. We're talking about your son as a Leo.
Right.
Even with, I just mentioned this travel that we're taking. It's you know, we're visiting my mother, you know, and it could be that, I mean, that's a familiar relationship. I don't know if there'll be money involved necessarily, but there is that potential. At least my money is going to be involved in this. So she is benefiting from another person's money.
Right.
There is the travel piece. And, you know, it with her birthday coming up next month, there's probably, or in September, you know, I think we often some sort of a reevaluation of.
Yes, but there's something else that will happen, and you might want to find out. I'd be curious to know if she's going through any kind of, because her 8th house is Aries.
Chiron effect may have.
I was going to say she may get a big fear trigger. Virgo may get some kind of a reappearance of a deep soul trigger fear.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget to mention about the Mercury squaring all of this. So some kind of a triggering, a deep fear about finances, security could open up for you. Because whenever anything happens for me in that 8th house, boy, do I get activated on those fears. So that can be another way that it plays out, but you're going to overcome it. Because Leo in Virgo covers your 12th house. So a divine, a big aha moment that opens up your belief system, who you truly are, becoming more confident about who you truly are. Virgo could have been having some fears with Jupiter in their 8th house. I would say they're coming into learning to, because this Taurus is about security versus not security. This new moon, they're gonna start trusting the unseen forces. They're going to start trusting the universe. They're going to see the universe has got their back. They don't have to distort themselves to create security. They are at Capricorn over their 5th house. So they always kind of distort themselves to hold on to friendships and relationships. So it's almost like they have a new faith to not be leaning so much on outside sources or relationships. It's like a talk. Don't forget the South Node being in their where would the South Node be in? South Node is going to be in the sign of Aquarius. So for Virgo, Aquarius is in their 6th house. So I think they're going to be releasing sorry, the south node is not in Aquarius. The south node is in, why am I blanking? Scorpio, Virgo. Where do they have Scorpio? Over their third house. So they're going to be letting go of trying to manipulate through communications or control situations, because the eighth house can be control. It's a big let go for Virgo, letting themselves, releasing control and letting the divine come in. Because they're that 12th house, so we're looking at the 12th house, the 9th house. So we're really, and we got Pluto in your 5th, which is trining. So it's almost like you really letting go, and you realize that by really letting go of what you try to distort and make happen, you're going to see open up an area, because it's trining your creative project, it's trining your 5th house, and Leo covers your 12th house. So you're almost going to have this sort of big internal shift where you really trust the universe. Like you're going to really start to be more like a flip-flop person. Where you just kind of relax and go through life a little more ease and relax.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. And I think there could be a crisis involved, because the 8th house can sometimes be kind of a crisis, a death and rebirth, where you really say, frick it, I've got no control. I let go, I'm done. And then you've released that resistance, and then something opens up, and that trining, that sextiling in Pluto in your fifth house, a creative project opens up. Where you see that you've been controlling your life. Like, again, you've been causing your own stuckness. And I always forget Saturn is in retrograde, releasing us from somewhere being stuck in the sign of Aquarius. So I almost feel like Virgo are going to open up their work environment, creates, because of this soul shift, their whole life, and they're coming into their solar return. This is a very introspective period for them. They're probably going to be out of the mainstream. You're going to find yourself kind of wanting to be by yourself more. And so you're going to come into real recognition of your soul. And then on the other side of this, you have this brand new version of Virgo that is much more confident about their creative projects, much more in their power, and holding a more soul aligned spirituality coming in. It's very spiritual for Virgo, I would say.
Yeah.
Like really waking up to their spiritual power, that there's a divine, and they have a relationship with God that creates their security because of that 8th house.
Yeah, that's pretty big. There's a lot happening with Leos too, or with Virgos too. And then Libras.
Libra,
the sign of balance and harmony. How are they going to be fair?
Well, they've got Jupiter retrograding in their 7th house. So they're going to reevaluate relationships, find the one that's in their real soul's truth, that's going to align with their Jupiterian calling, because don't forget their sun is trining Jupiter in their 7th house. So it's going to become clear. An opportunity is going to open up for them to get into the right relationship too. Or if they're in the right relationship, an opportunity opens up for them. There's something, a contracted situation opens up, with a relationship partnership where you sign a contract is blessed, and an opportunity opens up. That's a doorway for an opening for Libra. And Taurus is in your 8th house. Wow. So a big time death and rebirth, big time. You could suddenly become into a new relationship, and that person has a bunch of money and you become wealthy through them. Or you could have a passing away in the family and you get left an inheritance. Or it could be extremely passionate sexuality. You have a big awakening that you've been sexually in the wrong relationships, or approaching sexuality and now different, and it's been more externalized, and you now want a more soul, because you've got Jupiter retrograde in your 7th house. You probably want a more soul-based, passionate, sexual, tantric type sexual experience. That's one way to look at this 8th house. Libra, Taurus in the 8th house, but also it's finances and money. It's a big, and that is other people's houses. If you had stock in something, maybe they explode, maybe they do very well, maybe they collapse. But an opportunity opens up that helps you through, or I don't know, but that, we gotta anticipate maybe the shadow aspect. Maybe you do shift if you see something looking bad in your stocks, you might want to shift them now. If they're going down, go ahead, shift them. I'm not a money person, but I mean, that would be one way you want them to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do not ignore it.
Yeah, Libra. So that's Taurus in your 8th house. You're now going to become more financially secure through outside finances, through outside resources. You're going to be liberated, possibly. You might get a refinance on a property that liberates you to travel, or liberates you from working. You know, something's going to happen in your finances that liberate you from outside sources. You have Scorpio in your second
And so what
house.
about what about the Leo new moon in their 11th house? What's the
Libra. Thank you. New moon Leo in your 11th house. Well, creative project involving social media network, tribes, a fantastic a lucrative creative project that comes in. Could be through a friends group. You could meet a whole new group of people. You could meet a whole entire new group of people. And what is in their 11th house? What exactly is happening in Libra's 11th house? The Leo. Yeah. A lot of confidence, feeling good on social media. You want to get out there on social media, probably look really good. You'll be confident. New creative beginnings involving social media, a friends group, tribes of people, new tribes, because the new moon brings new. So a bunch of new people coming into your life that is part of a creative project. Very exciting. I'm personally excited for these energies. I just don't like the idea of a natural disaster happening, but the earth has to shift and move. And we just try to shift and move around it as well. We all have to do that, you know.
Exactly.
So everyone just be ready to be adaptive and light on your feet and stay aware and watching around you. Do not be in any shaky, unstable buildings. Okay. Aries in your 7th house. So have I done all of the Libra stuff? Have I left anything?
I think so. Let's move on to Scorpio.
Scorpio, you're going to have the South Node on your house, and you're going to have Taurus, all of this happening in your 7th house. So again, we've got some massive shifts and changes in your relationship houses that either fall apart if it's the wrong one, or wrap like boom, gone, or a relationship that you're in changes into a committed situation because it's contracted. 7th house is contracted. But let's look at the rest of the chart for Leo. So you've got Leo in your 10th house of career. Creative project opens up for you in your career. A new job, a new way to work, which is better for you. You almost get to leave a relationship and go start a new job somewhere. Or you start a new relationship or creative project with the person you're in a relationship with. That could be very well that happens. You have Aries in your 6th house of work, a project from the past, a work project from the past, and you're going to let go of something mega because you've got the South Node on your ascendant. So you're letting go of a whole identity, a whole way of being, a whole being, actually very identity focused is probably going to go. And you're going to become more of an authentic version of yourself. But with this Aries in the 6th house, a work project from the past coming back, and a new creative project in work coming in. Some kind of a work career shift happens because you've got Leo on the new moon in your 10th house of career. New status achieved. It's trining Jupiter in your 6th house of work, a new job, a new career, pay raise. A new fantastic beginning, creative, but again, it's very good chance you let go of a relationship or a certain structured aspect of that relationship and a changed structure of some sort. You might suddenly become, let's say you're married, you suddenly become, and your relationship shifts and changes into a joint project. You start renovating a property or something together, and now you guys are working together all the time. Something like that. Because Scorpio, this new moon in your 10th house is going to create an exciting new beginning in the career. So it's going to involve a contract, most likely involving a 7th house contract with somebody.
It's interesting that, kind of what you're sharing about with all of these. So here we are closing out the second 4 of the signs.
Yeah.
And there seems to be a pretty significant emphasis the past few ones that you've talked about with relationships, and how relationships are going to have a really big impact on all areas of life. You know, there's this connection point for people. And I think that's so important, particularly now in this time where we're all shifting with the people that are our divine partners, our sacred partners, are the people who complement us in some way and can hold us strong to go forth with what we need to do, and offer the same to us offer the same to others as well.
Right, because here's something else to remember. Taurus is actually ruled by Venus, which is a romantic and financial energy. So so wherever Venus rules your chart, which is Scorpio's, Libra, and Taurus, so it's their 12th and 9th, 7th, those are activated by this, but also Mars. I mean, really every house is activated by this big, mostly because we've trine Jupiter, and then we've got squaring Saturn, and we've got North Node, Mars, and Uranus up there. So it's like, those are all those are going to also impact your Venus ruled houses too. So yes, finances and relationships is this huge theme. And then don't forget, the sun represents the gods coming in and shining the way forward to your abundance, shining an open light through the door that we're going to go through. So yes, most likely it involves relationships on the whole. I would agree.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. I mean, it feels to me like we've had quite a few new moon and full moon readings and charts this year. Yeah. This one feels significantly powerful and impactful, and
I mean, it's definitely the biggest conjunction of the year of astrology, one of the biggest transits this year. So, and the new moon, it's like definitely happening at the time of the new moon. It's not exact, but it's close. So it's like, this new moon is going to open. It's sort of a nice energy behind whatever changes are occurring. It's going to help us through this fun Leo energy.
Yeah, it's very interesting. All right, so speaking of fire,
Sagittarius, I'm a Sagittarius sun. So let's see, for you guys, Taurus covers your Sagittarius. Taurus. Does Taurus cover the Sagittarius 6th house? Okay, 6th house. Taurus covers the 6th house. So,
or no, is it the 6th? Hang on.
Yeah, Aries was covering the 6th for Scorpio.
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one.
Taurus is in the 6th for Sagittarius. Aries is in the 5th. So relationship from the past. I'm sorry, no. Yep, Sagittarius, Aries is in the 5th, and they have Taurus in the 6th, and they have the Leo new moon in the 9th. Ooh, nice possible new opportunities for travel, trining your Aries in the 5th house of relationships, possible opportunities to travel with a creative project in a relationship from the past. And that's fabulous for a new moon for Saggies. They love travel. So this is a new opportunity. I know quite a few Sagittarius that would love this transit. So they have new moon in your 9th house could be travel, opening up, and could also be, I also do want to start a Vedic course. I want to start some other astrology courses. I want to study more. So you could start teaching, and I also might start teaching. So another group of classes I'm thinking of starting. So we've got the new moon in that sign of teaching, travel, or learning, higher consciousness. Sagittarius stepping forward and being more of a leader in a fun, jovial, creative way, because wherever Leo is, you're supposed to be more creative and fun. You're supposed to add creativity and fun to it. Rising Cancer have Leo over their 2nd house. I'm supposed to be more fun and funny. Like, I'm not really being that way. Some days I'm much more like funny, but this is so intense on the brain,
Yes.
But on the whole, wherever Leo is, you want to inject comedy because that's going to help you in that house. So Saggies looks like they're going to have a lot of fun traveling or teaching or learning, that ninth house. And I like that for Sagittarians. And the Taurus energy being in your sixth house, wow, shift and complete change of your day-to-day routine. Your day-to-day life will be completely changed. You will no longer, something about your routine will be completely gone, change and shift. You might also change a new health routine. You might suddenly, and also a work opportunity could really, because the sixth house can be work, change in work. That is to be expected in all these energies. And then with the fifth house with retrograde, a relationship from the past, your true Jupiterian, your true person, because Jupiter can often, if you're feminine, can represent the masculine. If you're masculine, a mission or a project from the past, or you representing Jupiter, you want a relationship from the past. You initiate a reconciliation from a relationship from the past. But there is a creative project involved, or something creative and fun, a rebirth of a new life completely for everybody.
So that's interesting that you brought up that you may be the initiator of a reconnection with an old relationship, because oftentimes we talk about somebody from the past coming in and pulling you back into whatever it is. But this is this a bit different, or this is just kind of a flavor that you're picking up on?
Pretty much across the board. It could be for a man or a woman. Either he initiates, it's most likely he will initiate the reconciliation, because usually it's the ball is in his court.
But it may not be. So you're basically saying
That's true.
Yeah, it may not, it could be, and it typically is, but it may be that
in the twin flame society or community, sometimes the masculine can hold the feminine, and you can see it in your astrology chart. Sometimes the feminine can hold more of the masculine. So it's whichever one is the masculine will do the reigniting. And sometimes it's in a feminine body, because I know many masculines that are more feminine and are more of the ones that tend to play the feminine dynamic in the duo. It doesn't have anything to do with your gender or sexuality. It's more
right.
Whether you have more of the penetrating energy within your psyche or the receiver.
Yeah.
So,
interesting. Okay.
Yes. So now to Capricorn. So you guys have all of this happening in your fifth house, and it's trining your own house. So this is going to be good for Capricorn. A creative project from the past. Again, Taurus for Capricorn is in your fifth house, which is great. It's a lucky house. It's a house of joy and fun, and it's trining your own. This is great. It's trining your ascendant, Aries, fourth house. You might move. I know a Capricorn who really does want to move. And then we've got Leo in your eighth house. Ooh, brand new beginnings and outside resources, finances from an outside place, or overcoming a fear of not being financially abundant enough, or getting an inheritance. Capricorn could suddenly win and get an inheritance. Somebody could pass, because we've got in their eighth house, Leo. New moons are not as bad for that, but a new beginning and outside finances, having much more courage, a creativity, a creative project could enable you to get funding from an outside source. Perhaps you could get married to a Leo that then financially supports you. You could, the eighth house having Leo there is new beginnings and outside resources, or you could have a passionate sexual relationship with a mate, a new beginning with them, a re-encounter with them. Aries which then turns into a serious relationship, because you're going to move with Aries in retrograde to a place from the past. Something that's much more home for you. You feel more comfortable in. It's really you. But again, all these changes are uncomfortable. But with Taurus, it's a sudden shift and change in your relationship, most likely. A friendship turning into a lover, because of that Leo in your eighth house. So it's like a relationship thing happening. If you're already in a relationship, you could have children, the fifth house. You could suddenly have children. You end up having a lot of romantic sex, and you could become pregnant.
Would this also be an energy of if you're currently in a relationship. And I'm thinking of someone in particular. So it's, you know, if you're currently in a relationship, okay, you're Capricorn and you're in a relationship with a Leo during this time, I'm feeling like because the Leo partner has got there's a lot going on with Leo, with this particular Leo in particular. It kind of, what I'm feeling is that there will be a shift within the relationship if the Leo partner is kind of on board with the energy of change that's occurring. If that person is not, I feel like it may be very challenging for the relationship itself.
Yes, you know, you're right, because you could look at that with the Capricorn, with Taurus over their fifth house. They could radically shift and end a relationship. Absolutely. That could be a big breakdown in crisis and an ending of a relationship. But then the Leo over your eighth house there could turn into another relationship really radically quickly that becomes very passionate. You end up in the right relationship and you have a reconciliation that's very passionate.
Which is that's
or you're having a really hot and heavy time in the bed department.
I was thinking more in terms of the Leo effect on the Capricorn, as far as if the Leo is resisting these changes, if Leo is not really embracing all that's going on, that could be even more challenging than it may already be, which could create some friction within that relationship. And this would go for any house, really, as
and don't forget, because you've got Leo in the eighth house, we have death and rebirth. That's the house of death and rebirth. So there could be a crisis that opens up that, because we do have that Mercury squaring. What is Mercury squaring? Mercury squaring all of this triple conjunction. And for Capricorn, that triple conjunction is in the fifth house. So you could get into a pretty rough argument between those two houses, Aries, the Taurus house and the Leo house. Because it's squaring. So you could have a breakup. There could be a clash. But again, you know, with that Jupiter trining, that eighth house, something better comes in, and a door opens up. There's a door opening up. So
it's not like all is lost. It's just
it might feel like it in the moment, but there's going to be a new way through.
All right. So shall we move on to Aquarius?
Yes, Aquarians, you have Taurus in your fourth house, so big shift and change. Hopefully you guys don't have an earthquake that knocks your house down, but Taurus in your fourth house, you want to watch out, and you want to possibly shift and change and make a radical shift and change and move, or change your family, or someone moves in with you, or you move out. But again, this is really radical change, so it's got to be pretty big change. And then we've got Leo in your seventh house of relationships, so brand new relationship comes in. But again, it could be a contracted partnership where you do a creative project with a partner. Aries, could be a writing project from the past. I really can think of about so many people that this could be happening to. So a writing project from the past comes in because it's Aries, it's motivating and exciting, and it's Jupiter in your third house. So ideas and thoughts, possibly a new website or something from the past comes back that it's really in you. It is your true soul. You do want it. It does fill your cup. That's trining your Leo house, which is the seventh house of relationships. So you do want to go back and maybe sign a personal contract or relationship over a creative project, or writing something, or a new opportunity opens up through a relationship that is a contracted thing that changes, then you have to move. Or you change house, or somehow you do have to reshift a living situation to adjust. You're going to change your living situation. I can't imagine any Aquarians don't. With Taurus in your fourth, wherever Taurus is in your chart, things are going to radically shift and change. And then Leo is this new opportunity, shining, a door opening into your seventh house of relationships, and it's a writing or communication or short distance traveling or internet or email. Busy for Aquarians. Busy time. Mercury is there squaring your fourth house. So it's possible there's conflicts or resolving of a conflict around all this, or information that does make you feel like you need to move, a square information to you that could make you think you need to move, or information, or if we have the new moon in Leo, your seventh house of relationships squaring your Taurus house. So possible ending of a contract as well. Like, it's possible some Aquarians could divorce and then they move.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that could happen. Or they get into a new relationship, Leo in the new house. That's huge. New moon, and you might get into a new relationship and move, change living location. That's very possible too. But new house in a new moon in your seventh house, highly, highly likely you get a new relationship. Now, it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be a business contract. And it's very possible you could start a new business in a contracted relationship with somebody. Could be a writing project or a new business. And you could start working from home. That could be a big radical shift and change. There we go. That was Aquarius.
Love it.
Yay. Now for Pisces. I'm a Pisces moon, so it applies to me. So let's see. We've got Leo for Pisces in the sixth house. So new beginning in work. Nice. Taurus in your third house. So a lot of changes and shifts in your neighbors, or that'd be great, because I would love new neighbors. A big radical change and shift in your neighborhood or in relationships with your siblings. There's a financial benefit or a shift and change. Also possible relationship you get into a creative, because Leo is over your sixth house. So we're looking at a creative work project that does change, makes you very busy, or you end up having to write. Could be a writing project or communication, but an opportunity. We've got the Jupiter, the Sun trining Aries in your Pisces. You've got Jupiter trining. It's funny, Cancer had Jupiter trining their second house because they have Leo in their second house and Jupiter in their 10th. Pisces have Jupiter trining. This is good for me. I like this news. So you have Jupiter in your second house. So a project from the back, a financial opportunity from the past returns, and making you very busy with that sun change and shifting and short distance traveling, making you very busy. But this is trining the Leo in your work, a new job, new work, very, very busy with creative projects, sudden shift and changing in your day-to-day routine, changing completely new creative, making money, being very busy. Maybe new website has to come up, or you have to do a lot of business traveling, or you could start a new business around this creative opportunity or work thing. But Mercury squares your second house. So information comes in that makes you want to shift and make a complete change. And then you go back to a creative way of making money from the past. Something from the past comes back in your second house of making money. So now you have Leo over your sixth house. I know Pisces, my son is a Pisces ascendant. Leo over your sixth house means your day-to-day creative, your day-to-day work is creative. He is a musician. It's really important for Pisces. They're very creative. They really do need to have a creative expression thing. Leo over their sixth house, it's like day-to-day, on a day-to-day level. They like to creatively express themselves. So we're really seeing a new opportunity in a creative self-expression endeavor. That's exciting. That makes you very, very busy, changes your life on a day-to-day level. You might have to do a lot more commuting or short distance traveling. But again, it's away from the past, returning, and suddenly surprises and changes you. It shocks you. You don't expect it. This could happen to me. I'm starting to paint an interesting picture here. You put all your ascendant, your sun, and your moon together, you're like, oh, okay, I know where this is all happening.
Interesting.
I would be very excited if it's what I think happens.
Well,
I don't want to jinx it, but
it's unfolding as we speak.
Yes, everybody's going to be happy because this is like out of jail, Now, getting out of jail can sometimes be a bit of a rough experience. You might come out all disheveled and like, like, you know, your hair is, your hat, everything's ripped and torn as you got out, you know, but you came out, you out, and now you get to have fun and play. And it's like, that's the energy, and be abundant. And these opportunities are opening up. It's like, if you're in jail and you don't know where, a lot of people like being in prison because they don't have anywhere else to go. It's like, some people just want to go back to prison when they get out because there's like, it's a home, you know, but like,
Yeah.
we're
Life
getting
is
out of
too
jail
much.
and we got somewhere to go. We got an open door. It's like,
Yes.
whoo, let's go. It's fun. It's our new life, everybody. It's everybody's the new abundant life that we have struggled in the last 10 years, 12 years, when we've had this Pluto and Capricorn to purge our karma and our fear resisted selves. And we're now going to kind of come out as these liberated, ready to live people, because Leo is living in the moment, being alive, living your life fully. With that Jupiter trining, an opportunity opens up that you can creatively live your life in a liberated, creative way. Isn't that great?
It's magical,
Magic.
truly. Yeah, it truly is. And so I just want to kind of give us both a little plug here at the end, is that with all of these different aspects that are taking place right now, and how we're all going to be affected on some fundamental levels, if anyone is looking for support or guidance when it comes to navigating this and understanding it, I know I'm having a number of people reach out to me with a desire to understand their relationships, which also is then also their relationship with self. You know, it always comes back to that.
Right.
And so I have a number of different spiritual sciences that address that, and where that we can look at. You know, astrology is a small piece of what I do. It's a major piece of what Madelaine does. So if people are looking for more of that guidance, I would direct you to the lovely Madelaine. If you're looking for more of it's just a different perspective on relationships and looking at your soul contract with it, which is a vibrational analysis of your name at birth, and looking at the energy play between two people, having a better understanding around the fear you came into this life with, the aspects of life you're looking to step into, the talents you have to help you overcome and achieve. I have a beautiful practice that would be very helpful for people who are looking for that, you know, in addition to self. So there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different avenues of support, and just wanted to let everyone know, not kind of, here you go, here's the big plate of stuff to sort through. It's okay, we've got some utensils that can help you. And
that sounds great. Yes. Yeah. And not to compete with you, because yours is slightly different, but I've got like 2 people now that I'm working with that have bought packages from me. I've started selling these packages, which somebody told me to do. And I was like, okay, I'll do them, but I never try to push them or anything. Anyway, people have started buying packages from me, and I'm doing like spiritual coaching with twin flame dynamics and relationship dynamics, and taking you more on a spiritual journey towards self-union. That's my focus, is the journey towards self-alignment, self-union, and union energy within your soul rather than separation mentality. So that's something I've been doing as well. And as well as the astrology and tarot. And I also am teaching. So sorry if I interrupted you.
I think that, I think it's great because I feel it's important for people to have multiple avenues of wisdom and knowledge that they can access and information. And, whomever may be watching may really resonate with what you said, or they may really resonate with what I said. I think everyone, you'll be drawn to what it is that you need, and you'll be drawn to the support that your soul is craving.
Yeah.
You don't have to really work at it. It will show up for you. Yeah. So, relationship support, self-support, a better understanding of yourself in order to navigate some of these changes. Any angle, whether it's with me or with Madelaine, or maybe a combination of the two of us, is always available. Or so many other people out there who are just incredibly
so great that
loving.
So many options that people can go to now for spiritual guidance and help, and it's just exploded onto the internet. And I know you have to use your discernment. You have to find the right person for
Yeah.
you. Word of mouth is excellent. I think word of mouth is really important. And because you're really trusting someone with your vibrations. And I always make sure that people's vibrations are high and intact, because that's the most important thing right now. And because, you know, where really the point of it is to pull out of fear base and into faith and confidence and feeling on the right path, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
hopefully everybody who's watched this gives us likes and subscribes.
Yes.
I was going to say that, and like all the other people I watch, they would say, remember to like and subscribe. And I never say that. So I thought today I would say it. Yay.
She said that. I appreciate that, because it never
Yeah.
even occurs to me either. It
I know.
does not, you know, definitely. Like and subscribe, please,
Yes.
to both Karmic Kindness and to what are you on YouTube, Madeleine?
I'm Madeleine Parker on YouTube, and I'm Madeleine Parker Insta, and Soul Level is my website. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so anyone who's watching us on YouTube, whether it's on my channel or Madeleine's, give us a like. Karmic Kindness, Madeleine Parker.
Yeah, and leave us comments on what happens in everybody's lives, and tell us your ascendant sign or what signs you are, so we can know if this is how
Exactly.
It's by your sign.
Yes. Yes, and we'll leave you little comments. I mean, I've popped back and forth on the live so that we could see what's going on, but there's not much going on there comment wise. So definitely leave us a comment. We'll answer later. You know, even if you catch the replay on this, please let us know what's going on with you. We love it.
All right. Well, big hug, Amalia.
Hugs to you, Madeleine. Hugs to everyone out there. We appreciate you being with us, and we will see you in a couple of weeks for the full moon in Aquarius, which I think is also going to be quite a ride. So here we go.
Stay safe and watch out, but keep safe and aware.
Exactly. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.